So today we will be starting up our session with our previous class. So previous class we have discussed about our cloud front, that is nothing but content delivery, CDN, delivery, content network delivery, and like most of the people has understand the theoretical part, but we have faced some issues in during the lab sessions also. So we will do it a lab today. So before doing to the lab, just I want to tell you one thing. What is the reason of CDN? CDN is majorly used for an edge locations. So maybe we can define our edge locations. We can define our content delivery, or we can distribute our website on all the edge services or on a particular limited edge services. So that we will see how we can define our regions, and how we can specify our regions, and how we can specify our countries. So based upon the country and specifications, our websites will be available on the particular caching locations. So that's all we will see right now. So let's go up and jump into the practical sessions. So before that let me share my screen. Yeah. So here first what we will do is we will create a normal static website by using an S3 bucket. So we has created a website by using a EC2 in our previous scenarios. Now we will be creating a website by using a static, which we'll calling as a static website by using a S3 bucket. So and we will publish the same website through the distributed CloudFront, and we will specify that a particular region or particular country need to be have an access to a particular site. So we will be doing this as a lab session today, and after that we will be directly jumping into a load balancers. Okay, so I will be logging into my AWS console. Just I will be going for my S3. First, the first step what I need to do is I need to create an S3 a static website. So before creating a static website, here I need to perform a few steps. Like first we will be creating a bucket. So we will be mentioning as static web site site 01 and 01. Okay. So let's come here, and here you need to enable your ACL. Why? Because it's an access control list. So if you enable this access control list, the objects in the bucket can be owned by other AWS accounts. Access to these buckets and its objects can be specified using an ACL. So I need to access this bucket from a public. So bucket owner preferred. So I need to specify this. So in a new object, return to a specific bucket, owner full control. So I need to enable this. And second thing is I need to remove the public access. Like why? Because I am going to access my website from a public. So from my internet. So that's the reason. If you tick this one, it will be block my public access. So I need to remove this, acknowledge this, and next is you need to enable the bucket versioning. Okay, so my data which has been stored on my bucket will be a version. So that's it. So first thing is you need to enable the ACL. Then the second is you need to remove the block all public access, and third you need to enable the versioning and say here create a bucket. name is already existed. So my static website demo 2025. Okay, let me choose this. Make sure you are using a East East one, US East one. Say create a bucket. Now my bucket is getting created. So my bucket has been created. My static website demo 002. So first of all, the first setting what you need to do is, so go to the properties. In this properties, you can verify your bucket versioning is enabled, and you can also see that come down, come all the way down to the block, and here you can see static website hosting. So currently the static website is in disabled mode. You need to edit it, and you need to enable the static website. Okay, and you need to specify host a static website, and here you need to mention the document name. Like I am going to create an HTML document. Make sure that it should be in yes, case sensitive. So why? Because if I, instead of small I, if I keep an capital I, and I am using a document with a small I, then then there will be an error. I could not able to access my site. For example, let me go through and watch, see what the site I am using it. So like yesterday, day before yesterday, we have created one site in our and we saved somewhere, right? Go for documents. Here we saved. So we saved the file saying that index.html. So I will open this. This is my CDN demo. So I will edit and modify it. Edit in Notepad. This is my CDN demo. Testing with static S3 static website. Okay. So I will be closing this. Save and close. Right. Now if I open. So this is my CDN demo server 01 testing with S3 static website. Okay. So just close this one. So now here I am mentioning as index.html. This is my website name or page name. Here also I am mentioning index.html. Okay, the same error document is also same. So nothing you need to do. So click go and save the changes. Done. First thing is you have created your static website, and second is you need to create the permissions. You need to write your permissions. So go to the bucket, again go for static website, and here go for permissions, and here you can see the public access is already disabled, and you need to write your policy now, that is called as your bucket policy. Why we need a bucket policy? Because this bucket is getting access from my different locations or different areas. So publicly this bucket is getting access, so that's the reason for allowing access I need to write a policy. So what I will do is I will go and write on edit policy. So you need not to bother about the policies, writing a policies. We have a policy generator. You can use this policy generator tool, so that your policy will be get generated easily. So click on policy generator. So here you select what is the policy I need to specify. I need to specify a S3 bucket policy, and the option effect option is allowed, and principal you mention it as a star. Star means it's a default one. So for everyone will be get allowed, and in the action you need to take an option called as a get object. Why we are using get object? Because we want a get a data or content from your bucket. So that's the reason we are using a get object as action. Okay, here I need to specify my ARN resource. Okay, so let's go to the bucket here, copy this and select and paste in this. Okay, and mention star slash and star, which mentions that by default it allows and all the locations and all the key pairs. Then add a statement. So this is the error you are getting. This is a default error. This as like yesterday also, day before yesterday also, when we are doing this we are getting the same error. As per the AWS, it's a default one, and AWS team is working on this. So this is an issue in the AWS website itself, so need not to bother about it. As a workaround, they have provided a solution saying as you can, instead of mentioning ARN, you can mention a star over here, and once the policy got generated, you can modify the ARN content here. So after you mention a star and click on add statement, see your statement has been created now. So now after statement is created, click on generate policy. Now your policy has generated. So instead of place of star, so here you have mentioned as a resource, instead of star you need to add your CRN here and mention slash by star. Okay, that's it. You nothing need to be done here. Just copy your policy here, then come to your bucket policy and paste it here. Your policy has been pasted. Now say save. So this is only the policy. What the policy is showing is a statement one, effect is allow, principal is nothing but everyone. So object is get object, and resource your what you can say bucket policy name. Okay, slash star and say save. Successfully my bucket policy was allowed. Now my bucket is ready with a permissions. Okay, go for static website, and now what I need to do, I need to upload an object here. So go and select an upload and click add file. In the desktop I am using an index, say open. Okay, say upload. Now my file is uploaded. Click on index, you will get an object URL. Copy this and paste in your URL. See that whether you can able to access your site. Yes, this is my CDN demo server testing with S3 static. So we are able to access the site over here. Okay, and this is not the way like what we are doing it, but we need to access the site from a static website. Go to the bucket and here go for static website. You go for properties. You can see you have a static website name created over here. You need to access this. Once you click on this, then you need to access your website. Yes, successfully. This is my CDN demo server testing website, S3 static website. Okay, so this is what we are able to access our website. So we have successfully created our website using a bucket. So what is the use of bucket? Is we have not utilized our any EC2 resource. We have not created any server. We have not created any website on a server. Just we have enabled a small and static website for our business. So you can place your images, content, whatever it may be in your folder, and you can run the show. Okay, that's the advantage of creating a static website using a bucket. Okay, till here it's nothing but we have created a website. We can use this static website on web hosting also. In our web hosting also, instead of this website, I can rename this website with some other my own website name by using a S3 route 53 S3. Okay, by creating an alias name or something like that, so that we will see it. Okay, go for S3, sorry, not S3, route 53. Host zones. I have cloud.fun. So in the host zone, I will be creating a record that is called as my sub record. Okay, say my S3 website. Okay, and here I am using as a C name. So C name is nothing but example of returning value. So here I need to specify this site. Okay. www dot okay. Copy and paste. Jump to my bucket, static, properties, go down, copy this. We will use this as well. Use this HTTP colon this. I will write simple routing, say create route. So now my route is got created. So if I enter this one, let us do an NS lookup. See, it is redirecting to my alias name. Okay, so my S3 website .cloud.farm. So this is my host record. So once I created this, so it's naming that. So S3 website -US East -1. Okay, so so it went to some addresses, and then it at last it has shown me that alias that is nothing but my S3 website .cloud.farm, and it's getting me the this address. Okay. When I double click on this, automatically it redirected me to the website. Okay. So this is what how my S3 Route 53 works. Okay. So here there is some changes what I think we need to make it by, we need to keep www also here. So we need to create another record called as www. So at that time, after that it will be get hosted. Okay, that is not an issue. Okay, so now our website is easily accessed by using our website name called as my static website demo. Okay, HTTP, we are able to access our S3 website. Okay. Okay, property settings, huh? Okay, sure. So, see, go for, we need to do only one thing here. So in S3 bucket properties, go for properties, and here come down at least last point where your static website hosting is not enabled. You need to click on edit, and you need to select and enable, and you need to select host a static website. Then here you need to paste an document name called as index.html. Why? Because I am going to use the same name called as index.html while uploading the file of index file. So index.html error document also I need to specify the index.html only, and then you need to save the changes. So that's it what you need to do at your S3 bucket side. And now you need to come to uh, your route 53, then you can create the route for your website. But this is also done. So I not right now I am not going to use this one for the testing purpose, demo purpose. I have shown this, but we are using a CloudFront where we are directly linking our CloudFront to my S3 bucket, and directly after that we will be using a CloudFront website, CloudFront URL to access our bucket. Okay. So till now, what we are doing is we are using our bucket URL to access the bucket. Now the same bucket will be accessed through a CloudFront URL, and that URL are stored on particular cache locations. And we can also define that these particular locations only need have a access to these particular locations need to be cached, or these particular locations need to be edged the services. So CloudFront, come to the distribution. Now you go and create a distribution here. Click on create a distribution. I used to click mention any name. Okay, let us take as sample S3, sample S3 website demo. Okay, I am keeping this sample S3 website. Okay, so I will keep the same as a description. Okay. Then click on next. So here we are using our origin type. Origin type should be our Amazon S3. Why? Because we are using our website is hosted on S3. If my website is hosted on ELB, that is called an elastic load balancer. That's what we are going to discuss right away. So after a few minutes, we will be discussing our Oracle elastic load balancers also. So if I am using a load balancer, then I need to select the load balancer here. So but I am using an S3 bucket, so I will be using an S3 here, and you need to browse your S3, and you need to link your S3, which S3 you are going to use. That is, this is a S3 what we are going to use, and choose the S3. Okay, now yes, S3. See here, this S3 bucket has a static web hosting enabled. If you plan to use this distribution as a website, we recommend using an S3 website endpoint rather than bucket endpoint. So previously we are using an bucket endpoint, but right now what the AWS is suggesting is to use a website endpoint. So we will enable this. Okay, use a website endpoint. No need to mention any path or anything over here, and simply say next. Do not enable any protection. So if you enable the protection or firewall, again it will be get charging for me. And next is nothing but we need to provide our security limitations. We need to purchase a SSL certificate also with AWS, so that to get my AWS firewall enabled, WAF firewall enabled. Do not enable the security protection. On click on next. So here it's giving me an all the review of my details. And see here, so in a origin path, so here you can edit the settings. So select on edit. Okay, I will not do it right now. Okay, so later we will do it. So say create a distribution. My distribution is getting created. So what is the use of this distribution? This distribution. So, and one more thing you notice here. So here this distribution is not created under any region. It is created under global. If you select this, see every region is got disabled. You are not able to specify or select any of the region. Specifically, you are not working on a particular region. If you see about this option or these services, uh, S3 bucket, here it's showing you as this S3 bucket is created in your US East 1. But when you goes for your route 53, route 53 also it's disabled. Okay, it's nothing but route 53 is a global service. It's not a particular designed for your region based. It's designed for your global service. So its DNS is nothing but it's a globally used. And the same in the same fashion, like CloudFront is also a used by a global, where you cannot specify a particular, you cannot select a particular region. But for other services, for S3 or EC2, for other services you can select your region here. But for your route 53 and for your CloudFront, it's a global service. So which once if you trying to configure any CloudFront or route 53, by default the S3 means AWS will change your region to global. Okay, so go for security. Just now my distribution is got created. It's still, I think it's still in deployment stage. Let's wait for to be get deployed completely, then we will move some we will do some changes. So here I got a default standard domain name, or you can change your domain name also. Copy this domain name and try to access this domain name. See, this is my CDN demo server 01 testing with S3 static website. Now I am able to access this site by using the CloudFront URL. Okay. So I will show you, this is a website which we have just now linked with our S3 bucket, but I have not specified any regions or policies or any what you can say limitations to my regions. So that we will do it. Now I have created only a distribution where I can able to access my site. Okay. Meanwhile, if you have any questions, you can raise your hands. Hope everyone is clear now. with what the distribution, how the distribution is working. So, sorry, how the CloudFront is working. Okay, my site is enabled now. Okay, go for my distribution here. In a generally, if you can see, you have an option called as edit. Click on edit, and here you can see that, so prices are class. Choose the price class associated with maximum price that you want to pay. Okay, so use all edge locations, means your site will be published to your all the edge locations, so that the user from anywhere from the world can be access your site very quickly. Okay, if this is the first option. Or no, I don't want to use the site to all edge locations, only my users are specifically from North America and Europe, then use this option. Okay, and if not only North America and Europe, if you have a North America, Europe, Asia and Middle East and Africa, then select this option. So here you will get a one question. So apart from this, if how can I select the countries? How can I select the my caching locations? So that is also possible here. So here I will select use all locations. That is called as my best performance, where this site can be accessed from all the locations. And what are the HTTP versions? So add support for an addition HTTP versions. HTTP 1.0, HTTP 1.1 are supported by default, and HTTP 2 and HTTP 3 also you can enable. So latest, if you have a latest web browsers are supporting this HTTP 2. Sometimes what you are facing, you will face an issue when you are trying to access the website. So you will face an error saying that the HTTP version is not supported. So it means that your site is not supported. At that point, you need to analyze that which site you are using it and how it is redirecting. So is the supported version is enabled or not? You need to check that. So if the HTTP 2 is enabled, so here it's saying that 1.0 and 1.1 is by default is enabled. But sometimes if you want to enable HTTP 2, yeah, hi sir.
Starting, अच्छा बुझा रहे
Okay, so I'm not doing any changes over here. You can select the region here. So based upon your prices or from your cost perspectives, and click cancel here. Okay, and go to origin. Yeah, so go for security. So in a general, you have an option for editing this, and go for security. And here you can see CloudFront geographical restriction. So from here you can restrict your countries. So here type is none, otherwise you can click on edit, and here the no restriction. So you can block, you can create the block list, or you can also create an allow list. So if you create an allow, if what happened here, so if I select only India, okay, it means that it will assume that India will be allowed and rest all should be blocked. So let us take here. Okay, so I have selected India as a allow list. It means that I will be saying it. So my allow list is India. If I click here, so his allow is India and rest all are blocked. So it will block all, it will only allow India. So in a block list, If I select both, see, now you got a block list. Now you not got an allow list. So you click on edit and say select allow list. You remove this. Only India is allowed, rest all are blocked. So if you won't configure anything, so if you say no restrictions, so everyone is allowed. Not only India, everyone is allowed. So here in this fashion, you can define your policy saying that, so which one need to be allowed, which country need not to be blocked. Okay. This is one of the security restriction which you can create on it. Okay. So is it clear with everyone? So I copy this, I will paste here so that now my website is using with different address. So this is the address from where I can access my website from any region. So that is nothing but my website has been distributed on all the edge locations. If you can see here, and you can specify like generals and you go for edit and you can see. So use all edge locations, means all edge locations my website is accessible now. So whenever any user is trying to access, easily he can access, and the edge location you can specify, and you can also specify your countries as per your requirement. Okay, these are some policies what you can define over here. Okay, is it clear with everyone? Let's start another new topic which is called as our load balancers. Okay, so what do you mean by load balancing, which is called as our ELB? It's an elastic load balancers. First of all, what is a load balancer? So load balancer is nothing but which balance your load. What do you mean by load? Load is nothing but your traffic. What do you mean by traffic? Traffic is nothing but a request which is getting generated from your user. So whatever it may be the request, from where you can balance your load is main criteria, or main dependency, or main what you can call as it uh, main terminology, or when you can call as a main statistics from where you can balance your load. So there are three different ways from where you can balance your load. So first of all, do you have any idea about an OSI layers? Think no. I think no. Okay, I will discuss about the OSI layers also. Okay. So what is an OSI layers? There are totally 7 OSI layers. Okay. Right. I understand that. So OSI layers. So when I type a called as www.gmail.com. Okay. So what is this gmail.com? When I am entering here a gmail.com, this is nothing but my application layer. So sorry, this is nothing but I am accessing my application. So this application is accessed through an HTTPS. It's nothing but it's a protocol. Okay, so I am accessing an application through a protocol. So here we have 7 types of layers, which is called as application layer, presentation layer, and session layer, which are called as also called as a top layer of your application. Application is a human compute interaction layer where the application can access the network services. So if your network is available, then only your application is able to access it. Means you are only able to access your application once you have your network connectivity. Means nothing but your application layer is a top layer. Okay, and then it's nothing but presentation layer, which ensures that your data is usable format and in where the data encryption occur. So the data is a usable format, means the presentation layer is responsible to present in a such a way that you can able to understand the data, or you can able to access the data, or you can able to read the data. And the second point is it should be secure, that is called as encrypted. So it should not be accessed, or it cannot be stolen, or it cannot be what do you can say, it cannot be hacked by anyone. So that's nothing but encryption. You need to perform an encryption. So that's the reason why you can see HTTPS. The difference between the HTTP and HTTPS is HTTP is not secure protocol. HTTPS is a secure protocol. Why? Because uh, it access through a secure channel, and it is called a secure certificate channel, that is called a SSL, secure certificate layer. So that layer is nothing but a presentation layer. Okay, then next is session layer, so which maintains the connection and it's responsible for controlling the ports and their sessions. So what do you mean by ports? Like yesterday we have discussed about, day before yesterday we have discussed about multiple ports. Like HTTP is one of the port, HTTPS is one of the port. HTTP has different port number, and HTTPS has different port numbers. So based upon the port number, it creates a session to your application. Okay, it creates a session to your application. So and next is you have a transport layer. So transport layer is nothing but it's a TCP or UDP. So what do you mean transmission control protocol? And UDP, I did not remember the name. UDP, it's a wireless protocol or uh, cable protocol. So both are TCP is nothing but LAN, and you can call as UDP is called as your WAN. And next you have a network layer. So here you can see the transport layer is a heart of OS. So it's a middle layer which have an interaction between your software layer and hardware layer. We have two types of layers. One is called as completely based upon your hardware part, and one is completely based upon your software part. So the transport layer is a middle layer which establish a communication between your software layer and your hardware layers. So network layer decides which physical path the data will transfer. Means what is a physical path to transfer your data? What is the routes? What is the routing? What is the switching? So everything comes under your network layer. Means routing, switching comes under your network layer, and data link layer defines the format of data on the network. So which type of data? It's maybe your image, or maybe your movie, or maybe your video file, or maybe text file, or whatever may be the file type, file format will be decided by your data link layer. Physical layer will transmit your raw between the stream over the physical media. So if physical media means your physical environment, means one cable to another cable. Like in your if you don't know about how the internet works, but there are a huge cables are laid under the seas. Under the sea there is a huge network cables are laid, so which we are calling it as a transmission data, that is called as one cable to one end to another end. So that are nothing but a physical layers. So in this way your data communication will work. So your load balancers are, you need to decide where you need to balance your load. So whether you need to balance your load on your application front, or you need to balance your load on your network layer, or you need to balance it your load at transport layer. There are three different layers where you can balance your load. Why? Because in your network layer, what the network layer will do, network layer will decide the path means what? So the route, so how the traffic need to be routed. So here the your main traffic will be routed from your network layer, then you need to decide, so how my traffic need to be routed. So whether it should be it's using any rules, you can define a rules over here. By based upon the rules, the traffic will be routed. And next is your transport layer. So this transport layer is also, it's nothing but it's decide about the traffic, which we'll call as network traffic. Transport layer is called as network traffic. How your network need to be defined and how your network need to be accessed. So this is nothing but one of the another layer where your load balancers can be managed. And the third layer is nothing but your application layer, where your application load balancers will be managed. So on an application layer, the application load balancers are managing. Why? Because they are managing your applications. So now the applications, how the applications are running. So applications are running on multiple ways when you goes for the cloud. Maybe you are on EC2 instance, maybe your container, or maybe on your S3, or maybe on your any of the API gateways. So on your application interface, you are going to deploy your application, or you can using your EC2 instance, or you are using as S3 bucket, or you are using as a container. S3 is nothing but your container containerization. That's what we have seen already, how we can deploy the containerization and how we are going to manage our applications. Okay, so that everything we have seen. So as a simple example, now in our today's scenario, what we will see is we will use an EC2 instance for easy understanding how my load is getting balanced. So now you understand that how the what is the use of your load balancers. Okay, let's easily jump into now one more thing, that is called as load balancers. Is a technique that distributes your network and application traffic across the several servers. This can improve your performance, reliability, and ability. So why we have an performance and reliability and availability? Why? Because what is the use of performance, what is the use of reliability, and what is the use of availability? So we will see right away. So elastic load balancers automatically distributes your incoming traffic across multiple targets, so such as EC2 instance, containers, and IP addresses in one or more availability zones. So you can specify your availability zones also. Based upon your availability zones, your traffic will be get divided. So it monitors the health of its registered targets and route the traffic only to the healthy targets. So let us say that if I have two servers or three servers in my group, and I want to, my traffic is routed to only one server, and after some time if I feel that this server is down, then automatically my uh, load balancers will test the health of a particular EC2 instance, and define that or analyze that, saying that this EC2 is unhealthy. Then automatically it start uh, it automatically start reflecting or starting start rebounding your traffic, or distributing your traffic to another EC2 instance in the same scope, so that your traffic will be divided without any downtime. Means the user will not face at least a single second of a drop also. Why? Because this everything is managed automatically in response of changing an incoming traffic. So based upon your incoming traffic, your load balancers is automatically, it scales your balance. If you say that if my load balancers can improve the performance by distributing the traffic across multiple servers. Here your traffic will be divided to multiple servers, so this can help to reduce the latency and improve the response time. So if I say, if my server is server 1 is servicing providing a service to a user 1, then if the user 2 wants this service from my server 1, he did not to wait. Why? Because it's a load balancer. It automatically the request will be sent to another server. Why? Because the server 1 is busy, so the request will be automatically sent to server 2. What happened? My performance has increased now. So next is reliability. So load balancers can increase the reliability by ensuring that no single server is overloaded. If one server goes down, the load balancer can redirect the traffic to remaining servers. So it's nothing but, so no server will be get overloaded. So for example, you can specify like 30-40, 30-70, or 50-50, or 60-40, like that. So if you specify 30 and 70, then 30% of traffic goes to one server 1 and 70% of traffic goes to server 2. Like that you can differentiate your load between your servers. And if you don't want to differentiate, or if you don't want to give any policy, then load balancer automatically he will take care about it. So improve and availability, it's nothing but load balancers can improve the availability by ensuring that your application is always available. That's the major important concept or major important thing what an application team want. So application team always says that my application should be available 99.9%. So that criteria, that requirement is fulfilled by your load balancer. So load balancer will maintain your application availability but 99.9%. If one server goes down, the load balancer can redirect the traffic to the remaining servers. That is called as, in other fashion, it is also called as high availability. So high availability is nothing but your load balancers can manage your high availability. So what are the load balancers you have? There are 4 types of load balancers. One is called an application load balancer. As I said, there are applications which need to be managed, which is called as it integrated distribution incoming HTTP and HTTPS traffic to the target instance containers or IP address based upon the rules and configurations set by the users. So whatever the rules you have set, so based upon the rules, your traffic will be get divided. ALB functions at application layer, the 7th layer of OSI module. So the top layer, which is called as 7th layer of an OSI module, where your application load balancer works. So this is an interview point of view question. So on which layer that application load balancer works? So application load balancer works on top layer, that is called as 7th layer. Okay. Okay. Next is your network load balancer. Network load balancer operates at transport layer, that is at 4th layer, middle layer of OSI layer, and designed to handle TCP, UDP, and TLS traffic. So you have secure traffic and as well as transport traffic. So these will be managed by your network load balancer. It's highly scalable, offer low latency, and it's suitable for applications that require high performance and extreme scalability. So it's nothing but, so this load balancer is balancing your load based upon your TCP IP traffic. So how much traffic you are coming in and how much traffic it's distributing. So based upon the traffic, so if you find that the server 1 is having a huge traffic, then automatically it shifts your traffic to server 2. So that is nothing but based upon your traffic. But application load balancer is based upon your protocol or HTTP service. Okay, here the network load balancer works on your network traffic. Okay, keep this in mind. And next is gateway load balancer. A gateway load balancer operates at a 3rd layer of an OSI module, that is called as your network layer, means your local layer. So gateway is nothing but your local gateway, or at your near to your server. So if you say near to my server, it's not on my public. If I can say, it is a mediator between my public and private. Okay. Gateway load balancer, I can take an example of my security guard at my gate. So at my gate, and it is my the load balancer, network load balancer at my office premises, office security, and here application load balancer is my reception, and network load balancer is called as my office security, and gateway load balancer is my entrance gate security. So it listens all the IP packet across all ports and forward the traffic to the targeted group that specify in a listener rule. So gateway rule is nothing but what is my gatekeeper will do. My gatekeeper will, if I want to go to office, for example office ABC, and there are office ABC and XYZ, two offices are there in my building. And if I want to go to ABC, I go to the gate, I go to the entrance gate, and I say that okay, my gatekeeper will ask me which office you want to go. So I will say that I want to go in office ABC. So that is nothing but my rule, and that is my requirement. So based upon my requirement, based upon my specific listener rule, so he will redirect me to an ABC office. So once I come to ABC office, so if I feel that the network load balancer is also available over there, so if you have a huge traffic there, I will find one more security guard, that is called as my network load balancer. He will ask you that where you want to go, how you want to go. That is my traffic. So then it will comes to an application load balancer. Like that, you have a different types of load balancer. It's not compulsory that you need to specify three load balancer at the same time, but you can specify any load balancer based upon your requirement. Okay, so the last but not least is nothing but your classic load balancer. These load balancers previously we used to use it, but nowadays we are majorly focusing on network load balancer and application load balancers. So right now we are also using a classic load balancer, but it's a previous technology. And here the difference between classic load balancer and a network application and network load balancer and gateway load balancer is these classic load balancer only specifies a particular instance. Okay, and classic load balancer operates at both application layer and as well as your transport layer. The OSI module and its idea for application that require basic load balancing features. So for your basic load balancing, for your normal load balancing, so if I say that I have two EC2 instance, and between that two EC2 instance, I want to manage my load balancer, or let me take as my high availability. If anyone goes down, automatically my traffic will be shifted to the server 2. That is nothing but I can specify number of instance in the classic load balancers. But whereas in your network and application and gateway load balancer, where I need to specify a rule, a listener means who is going to listen my traffic, or who is going to listen my ports, my between who's going to listen my ports, and based upon the listener ports, okay, are based upon the rules which I have defined, or which I have defined in a rules, then it will be specified, then it will be providing me to access the particular target. So here in your application network and gateway, we have a listener rule and your target group. So these two are the features which are you are available in application and load network load balancer and gateway load balancer. But this feature is not available in your classic load balancer. Classic load balancer only access through an EC2 instance. Okay. Right? Only EC2 instance can provide basic load balancing capability for distributing incoming traffic with multiple EC2 instance. Okay, so by using multiple EC2 instance, you can use your classic load balancing. So this is the difference between, yeah, let us see this OSI layers. So where you are using your application layer, so application and classic load balancers are used at your application level, and your NLB and CLB is used at your transport layer, and your GLB is going to be used on your network layer. Okay, these are the three layers where you can use your network load balancers. Okay. Next is what is the key difference? As I said, application load balancer, network load balancer, and gateway load balancer. you register the targets to the target groups, and the routing traffic through, they will route the traffic through the listener rules. Whereas classic load balancer, you register the instance with the load balancer only. You are going to register the instance, no target groups or no listener rules. Okay, what is a listener? Responsible for handling the connection request from a client. So whenever the client has request any access, and operate on a specified protocol or a port that you configure. So if I say that my load balancer should allow an HTTP role only, then my HTTP request only will get access through my load balancer. If I say HTTP, then HTTP will get access, or if I say HTTP yes, then only the HTTPS request will be accepted. Means only the secure request will be get accessed by using a rule. So rules defined for each listener guide how the load balancer route request to its registered targets, and rules indicates a priority on one or more actions and conditions. Means you can create one action, or you can create more conditions on that actions, and executed when rule conditions are met. So rules and conditions are met, then only your actions will be get executed. Until and unless if the rules and conditions are not met, your actions is not get executed. Okay, that is called as listener. And what do you mean by target? Target group is nothing but a set of resources or set of EC2 instances which serves your request. So root request is one or more registered targets such as EC2 instance defined by the protocol or port number specified. So you need to specify or allow a particular ports on a particular region or particular what you can say EC2 instance. So targets can be registered with multiple target group for adding flexibility. So you can add multiple target groups for a can register with a multiple target groups. A single target group can be registered with multiple target group to access your resources. So this is nothing but you have a differences between classic load balancer and application load balancers. Listeners and target groups are available in application and network and gateway load balancers, but not on classic load balancer. Okay, so we will see an example of classic load balancer now. Okay, so do you have any queries so that I can jump into the practical sessions? Yes, it will. ELB is used in accessing public IP address or resources. So it is used to access through public only. So by using a public IP address, we can access. We have two types of options. One is called as public facing, and another is called as internal facing. You can create the load balancers at any front, like on application. Means if you want to create the load balancer on public traffic, you can create it. Or if you want to create the traffic on load balancer on internal traffic, that's also possible. You can create the traffic for internal load balancing also. So load balancer works on both type, internal and external. Clear, Mohammed? Okay. Let's jump into the ELB. First, you need to go to EC2. If you can come down here, you can see load balancing. Here you can see target groups, trusted storage, and load balancers. Click on load balancers. Okay, before creating a load balancers, what I will do is I will create one security policy. Okay, and I will create two EC2 instance. Okay, so that my EC2 instance get access. Okay, then we will test it out. Go for security group. So I will be creating one security group. saying as my HTTP server demo, my HTTP server ELB. Okay, description, allow SSH and HTTP traffic. Okay, so I will be selecting as a default VPC over here, and I am adding a rule. So I am adding a rule called as SSH. Okay, that is my anywhere IP, and then I will be adding as HTTP traffic, and that is also from anywhere. So outbound, all traffic custom allow by default, it is allow outbound rule. Okay. So create now what I did, I have created a HTTP service, HTTP rule as well as SSH rule. I have created two rules in it, and just I will be creating a security group now. I have created a security group. Okay. Just give me a minute. Okay. So created security group, created two inbound rules. Okay. Now let's create an EC2 instance. So launch EC2 instance, HTTP mistake server web server 01. Okay. Let me take an Amazon Linux. Okay. Keep it simple and keep it default. Okay. Use a key pair. So I will be using a key pair called as web 01. Okay. Keep the network settings as it is, but here I need to select the security group. So select an existing security group here, and you mention it as my HTTP server ELB. So this is a security group. I'm selecting it. So come down, go for advanced, and here you write a script. My web server 01. Copy this and paste here. Okay. So this is clear, right? This is what we did yesterday. Sorry, a long time back. Yes, Mohammed, we will be learning CLI in this week. So why I was not shown about CLI, because it's a command oriented. So you people will get confused. So that's the reason you need to mention some commands to create the EC2 and to launch. For each and everything, you need to write a command for that. So it will be a little bit confusing topics for you. So that's the reason I have not shown you CLI till now. So within this week, inshallah, we will discuss about CLI also. Okay. So these everything whatever I was showing you in the console mode, this everything you can perform this action through CLI also. So through CLI also you can create a load balancer. Through CLI also you can create the S3, but everything you need to write a command for that. So so if I show the CLI and command oriented, then definitely you will get confused. So why? Because you are learning for the first time. So command oriented for the first time is very much difficult. Okay. So once you are familiar with all the services, then we can go with the command line instructions. Okay. Then you can learn CLI. So right, so here I am using this, and you say launch an EC2, launch an instance. Okay, my EC2 instance has been getting launched. Okay, so I will be creating an another EC2 instance. So my web server 02, launch an EC2 instance, web server 02. Okay, go for Amazon Linux instances. So here you select as web 01. So that's my key, and here I will be selecting my existing security group. So HTTP, my HTTP ELB, I am selecting this as my security group, and then next go for advanced settings. Choose this one, copy and paste here. Here I will be changing my, this is my server 2, so that's the reason I am using as web server 2. Okay, say launch instance. Assalamu alaikum, Syed. You have joined late. Just go through the recording sessions. We have discussed about CloudFront and website building through an S3 bucket. Okay. Okay. Now my two web servers are getting launched. Okay. Closing this one. Let me go to web server 01 and copy this public IP and paste in a session. Let us see my website is working or not. Yes, connected to web server 1. Okay. Web server 2 is taking some time. Yeah, now it's got. Let's see whether my this server is getting connected or not. Yes, connected to web server 2. So till now what we did, we have created our security group, and by using this security group, my two servers are getting connected to my browser. It means that my HTTP service is working fine. So there is no issue with my HTTP. Now I need to create a load balancers. Okay, just come down here. You can see the load balancer. Right click on it and go for load balancer. So here I will be creating and create a load balancer. See, now you have compare and select the load balancer types. you have 4 types of load balancers. One is called as application load balancer, network load balancer, and gateway load balancer. So here you have one more load balancer that is called as previous generation. That's what I said. It was a old generation load balancers. Now no one is using this load balancer, classic load balancer. Why still the load balancer is available in your AWS console? Because there are some companies are which in a previous days they used to use a classic load balancer. They are still using the load balancer, so that's the reason why the classic load balancer are still available. But now the classic load balancers are not getting used. Now we are using only application, network, or gateway load balancers. So to understand very easily, first what we will do, we will create a classic load balancer, and then we will do the application load balancer. Okay, go for classic load balancers. So I'm going to show you application load balancer as well as classic load balancer. Okay, so here you can see here the CLB is nothing but SSL, TCP, HTTP. It's nothing but both for both. So that's the reason why I say that CLB is load balancer works on application layer and your transport layer. So application layer, what is an application layer? Application layer is this one. Okay, and CLB is nothing but transport layer, which is called as TCP and UDP. That is what he said. TCP or SSL certificates are what? So it's nothing but it comes under your application and transport layer. So I will be creating as create load balancer. See how classic load balancer works. A client makes a request to your application. The listener in your load balancer receives the request machine matches that protocol or ports. The receiver listener, okay, the healthy instance receives the traffic. You can register or deregister instance to the load balancer either manually or by way of auto scaling. Also you can do by auto scaling group, but right now I will be doing it manually, okay, to easily understanding. Okay, so go for the load balancer, go for create load balancer, and go for classic load balancer. And here you create a create load balancer. See, now you can see two options called as internet facing and internal. So if you want to face your website to an internet, and if you want to create a load balancer for your accessing your internet data, then you can use an internet facing. Or else if you are want to use your internal website like local website or local balancing website, then you can use an internal. So I will be using as CLB hyphen demo. Okay, so my CLB demo. Okay, so here I will be using my default website, default VPC, and here I am selecting two regions. One is called as US East 1A. I am selecting this. The by defaultly the subnet got selected. I am selecting an US East 1B. So this is nothing but my availability zones. So on both availability zones, my website will be available. So you can select multiple availability zones as per the group. But here you can see the default security group is already selected. Select up to 5 security groups. You can add another security group as my EC2 instance has a security group which is associated with them, that is called as HTTP, right? HTTP ELB security group, which I will be selecting here. Why? Because this is a security group to access my EC2 instance. Here I am not creating anything by listener port, is nothing but HTTP by default and AT. You can create multiple listener ports also here. Okay, and health checks is nothing but it's also ping by using a port number 80, and my page called as index.html. Okay, so here now comes down and you need to add an instance. Say add. So I have two instances which are in a running stage. So I will click both and say confirm. So here security group is also showing me, and both the zones and as well as public IP addresses and everything is showing correct. Okay, so come down attributes. I won't change anything here. Okay. Advanced health checks. Here you mention as response time as 5 seconds and interval as every 10 seconds. So every 10 seconds, my health checks were used to be performed, and response time you need to wait for 5 seconds. Okay, make it these changes. Okay. Load balancer tagging, you can tag your load balancer. Okay, tag is used for your identification purpose. So okay, so you can do what here, and you can say create load balancer. So my load balancer is getting created, successfully created the load balancer. Okay. Yeah, okay, the availability zone is not configured. So here we have selected the availability zone called as A and B, but my EC2 instances are in availability zone C, right? So I need to configure the availability zone also. Security, no, network mapping. Okay. Availability zone, edit subnets. So I need to add the subnet of US East 1C also. Save the changes. Just let us wait for, yeah. Now see, previously it is showing is out of service. Why? Because my availability zones are these EC2 instance are in availability zone C, but I have selected availability zone 1 A and B. So that's the reason it was showing as out of service. Now it came in service. So here you need to see that it is an in service healthy stage. So now copy this DNS name, okay, and try to access the site. Now connected to web server 1. So by using this website or by using this uh, load balancers, so I am able to access this site. So sometimes we used to get an issue saying that my website is not working, so I am getting some error. So how you can identify where you are exactly hosted on your on which domain or which network it has been hosted. So you have sitting in your company and you say you got a request, you got a ticket saying that my website so and so is not working. So how you can identify that whether this website is using a load balancer or this is a static website? How you are going to identify? By a simple funda, by using an NS lookup. NS lookup, enter this site and see. You can see here, you have entered the site elb.amazon.com. It's nothing but is redirecting to your 34,198 and some addresses. Let me take another example. Okay. Create a record. ELB demo. Click on alias. Load balancing. You have created the host entry here. Alias to application or classic load balancer. Specify the region and say create a record. Now you have created a record for your load balancer. Call as your A record. Definitely you won't able to access here. So yes. See here what you have entered, my lab demo dot cloud fun. This is my website. You have entered this and you have connected to web server 02. So when I try to connect using this load balancer, it has connected to my server 1, and when I tried from my route 53 zone, I have created a route 53 zone and I have created an associate pointer to this, and we try to access this my site. It's accessing my connection dot web server 02. Okay, let me try this also. Is this also working or not? It's not. Okay, leave it out. So by using this, I have accessed this website. So okay, now it's nothing but here it is accessing my web server 2. I refresh it again. Okay. So I want to show the usage of Route 53. That's the reason why I was using this. So to test my websites. So Route 53 is used to host your website. So to show the advantage or show the usage I am using this. So if you want to create your domain, I will share you my reference link, so that from there you can create your domain, or you can purchase any domain. Okay. So connected to web server 2. So what I will do right now is I will stop one EC2 instance. Okay, now this website is getting connected to my server 2, and when I try to access internally or from other browser, from ALB, then it's connecting to my server 1. So what I will do is I will stop my server 02. Then let us see. Stop the EC2 instance. I am stopping my EC2 instance. So parallelly, you go and check the ELB also. I load balancers. See, now here it shows me as out of service, instance has failed, and last unhealthy, threshold number of health checks. So if you go for health checks, you can see, sorry, so it's out of service. Now let us try to access the same website. See, your connection has redirected to web server 1. So here automatically your balancer has switched your request to another server. So the server which is in enable mode. So what I will do, I will switch off. I will turn this server on and I will turn the server off. Then automatically my load balancer, what he will do, he will switch my traffic to the available server. So I am stopping server 1 and running server 2. Now my site was accessing to my server 1. So here if you can see the load balancer. So now my server 2, web server 2 was in service. Then the server 1 will go in out of service after some time. Yes. Now server 1 is out of service. Now you try to refresh this site. It should go to server 2. Close this browser. Want to open the new browser. You can cache. So it is going to server 1. So some temporary cookies which is allowing me to access to the site only, server 1. Let me open a private window. Try to access this. Sorry. Yeah. So connected to web server 2. So why previous site was showing for 1? Because I think there is some temporary cache was enabled. So it was get cache, that site is got cache. So that's the reason it's again redirecting to site server 1 only. Yeah, now it got refreshed. So now it is showing me as web server 2. So like this, my load balancers will automatically switches the load between the EC2 instances. Okay, got it? Working instance of connected to web server. When I'm connecting EC2 Linux. Are you writing a code, Mohammed? Okay, I think the sentence you check this one. What the so here if you can change if I here I have written connected to web server 01, you can modify this and try to connect it. You are getting a site, but the matter is getting different, right? Is it I'm right? Okay, okay, Vaid. Inshallah, we will discuss tomorrow another new topics. Okay. Have any queries? Uh, EC2 is nothing but in a real-time scenario, we are not using EC2. For the testing purpose, I have shown you to connect the EC2 for the launching a website. But in a real-time scenario, we are not using it. So in a real-time scenario, we may be using S3 or Route 53. Anything. But most preferably Route 53 only. Okay. So websites are hosted if you are hosting any website in your AWS environment, definitely you will use a Route 53 to publish that website. And that will be get managed through your load balancers. So here I have created a load balancer to my website. I have created a website. I have published my website on EC2 instance. I have created a load balancer in it, and then I have uh, managed that website through my Route 53. So when I try to access my ALB demo.cloud.fun.com, then it is redirecting me to my load balancer. And one more thing I missed to show you. So if you can see NS lookup, and I mentioned this, okay, and enter it. Now you remove this HTTP. See, when I entered this mylab.demo.com, so it's redirected me to my IP address that is called as my uh, mylabdemo.cloudfund.com. So where it is mylab.cloudfund.com, if you can copy this, DNS method. So we have a 3 A records here. Your DNS host entry is published on your Route 53. Means on your Route 53, your DNS entries has been published. Like this, you can troubleshoot it. Okay. Any queries or any doubts? So, and one more thing, information I need to pass on to you. Like we are going to start a new batch of Azure from next week. So if you have any friends or any relatives, those who want to join the course for Hero to Zero course, they can join. And for the old student, we are planning to give some benefits that we will be discussing in our next class. So in the next session, I will discuss with Alim sir, and we will discuss on the benefits what we are going to give you as a referral students. So as if you can refer someone, then we will be giving you some benefits. And we are also planning to start Google Cloud. So Google Cloud administration also we are going to plan. So I am only going to teach you about the Google Cloud also, so in further. So that's what we are planning to do it. So we will share the information to you, what the benefits you are going to get if you can refer to someone. Okay. So inshallah we will be sharing this information in our next class. Okay. No, it was not started on 18th of this month. So we have starting this with Azure student. Only Azure course we are starting it from this next month. Sorry, from the next week. Uh, so I think we will be joining that students to the same batch. If you have any friends, just you can refer it. Okay. Okay, Wahid. Thanks. Thanks all. Thanks for your time. Inshallah, we will meet tomorrow. Okay. Thanks. Bye. Bye all.